Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. We've been working on order of operations with integers using PEDMAS or BEDMAS to solve multi-step questions. Now, the questions we did previously and corrected today all had operations but no exponents in them, because you guys haven't really learned a lot about exponents yet. So today, I wanted to do a little lesson with you on exponents. So an exponent is a shorter way of writing a number. Often it's used in science to shorten very long numbers up. If you're talking about the distance from the planet Earth to a certain star, this might be just like hundreds of billions and trillions of miles. And it can take up a lot of space to physically write that number. So an exponent is a way of sort of condensing that number in a shorter form. Now, what I want to talk about in this chart is just some of the terminology surrounding powers. So if we look at the first question, we call the entire number, the large 3 and the little 2 in the right-hand corner, we call that 3 to the power of 2, or we say 3 squared. The reason we say 3 squared is because if you were to build a square that had side lengths of 3, you would literally get a square. If you take a square that is 3 by 3, 3 by 3, that's a square. So that's why we say 3 squared, because if you have a square that is all sides 3, we say that's a 3 by 3 square, 3 to the power of 2. In this situation, the base is the large 3. So we say the base is 3, and the little 2 we call the exponent. Now, we write that as a multiplication question. We don't write it as 3 times 2. We say we're going to take the base of 3 and we're going to multiply it 2 times. We're going to say 3 times 3. And then for the standard form, we say that that is 9. Now, a 3 by 3 forms a square. This is what I was talking about before. If you had a square that was 3 by 3, that's what it would look like. And that's why we can say that 3 times 3 is also 3 squared, because that literally forms a square. Okay? 5 to the power of 3, I can also say as 5 cubed, and I'll talk about that in a second. So 5 to the power of 3 has a base of 5. The exponent is the little 3. And as a multiplication question, we would say that's 5 times 5 times 5. 5 multiplied 3 times. And that would work out to 125. Now we can say this as 5 to the power of 3 or 5 cubed. Why 5 cubed? Because I could take these dimensions, and I'll try to draw a small cube here. Doink. No. Doink, 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 doink. And there's a cube. So there's a makeshift cube. And if I was to draw that cube, it might have a length of 5, a width of 5, and a height of 5. So we could say that cube is 5 by 5 by 5. That's why we say that this is 5 cubed, or 5 to the power of 3. Okay. Negative 2 to the power of 4. Well, this exponent 4, when we have parentheses like this, that means this exponent 4 applies to everything in the parentheses. So the base of this power would be negative 2. The exponent would be the little 4. And this means that that little 4 is going to apply to everything in the parentheses, including the negative 2. So this means negative 2 4 times negative 2. I'm going to show this multiplication with parentheses, negative 2, negative 2. And when I work all that out, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. Last question. It looks similar, but look at this. This time, the negative sign is on the outside of the parentheses. The exponent 4 only applies to the base inside the parentheses. So the base here is not going to be negative 2, it's just going to be 2. The exponent is still 4, but this time, since the exponent 4 only applies to the number in the parentheses, this will be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. But there is that negative sign that's still in front. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. That's 16. But there is still that negative sign in the front. And remember, whenever there's a negative sign in front of an integer, it applies to that integer. So the answer there is negative 16. That's a little introduction, a short introduction to exponents. Technically, it's not on the curriculum for grade 8, but they do have to know this stuff for some other topics. And it's great for grade 9 because they get just hammered into it in grade 9. So best to get a little introduction now. I hope that helps with your assignment today, the worksheet numbers 1 to 45. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.